Good evening, everyone. In today's video, I'm gonna dive further into the Dragon Souls collection here. As we are pretty far in the game now in terms of development, and we're actually at a point where our main dragon here has completely finished up, and it just kind of gives us this extra edge in the game at this point. And it also leads us to being able to actually, in a more rapid way, start developing our secondary March dragon. So that's what I'm really working on right now. To stay competitive now, I need a secondary March to be stronger in order for me to fare well in, say, the arena and in general competitions, because my opponents are pretty stalemate with me. Dragon is maxed, our immortals are also fairly maxed out. As you can see, all skills are at skill level 8, equipment almost finished, as we can see here, and the same for the boost level. So what I have started focusing very hardly in on is exactly to start really kind of like quickly leveling up my lightning dragon for my secondary March. And what I'm going to show you today is just my approach as to how I, in the most efficient way, can do this. And the first thing is, of course, I quickly touched base with this last time. It's to set your talents up the right way to minimize cost for kind of rapid boosting this, which definitely is this one: reduce the time for purifying dragon chests. Of course, there's also the next one to limit the gold for the actual dragon upgrade, and we also have the other one within that reduces the time. But what I'm mainly focused on, so this is super important as well, if you are to start boosting with speed ups. I'm personally waiting a bit with this, so I'm only level 16 with my lightning dragon, and that's simply because I'm waiting for an event to come around that, in, for instance, King of the Hill, in the one of the stages here, I don't know if it says which order it is. Anyway, it's at least in the first event rules here, you can see. Then there is the first one, that's training troops. Then there's defeating gnomes. Thirdly, gathering resources. But exactly the fourth one is building and dragon upgrades. So it's not until, when will that be? Next Friday in King of the Hill. That's where I will go through a ton of speed ups here to really boost my dragon up a lot. I'm even gonna go beyond and use my universal speed. As you can see, I have a ton of those. So I'm gonna use a lot of those on my dragon, so I need to start saving up some gold for that. And that's just where the talents really will come into play. But what we are gonna do today is actually grind some of the dragon bosses, and what I want to cover here is exactly what level you should be grinding them at. So we are at a stage now where, yeah, we can fairly easy defeat a level 15. But moreover, it's also like, yeah, what is the most efficient level to be grinding them at? So quickly gonna take you back here into my battle report. I'll see if I can find it actually far enough down. Then right here we have exactly that. I am clearing, for instance, here a giant level 9. You can one-shot that one, whereas level 10, that's where I start having to use 2 hits on that. So a bit higher AP consumption. Then we go to level 11, that's also 2 hits, 12, 2 hits. Level 13, we start actually needing to spend 3 hits, 14, 3 hits, and 15, 3 hits. So that's one that we have an increased cost of AP, which you can again kind of like correlate to amount of gems that would cost if you're replenishing your AP with gems. So if you really want to do this, how to say, rush through a lot of chests in one go, then you don't have the time to save up your AP for that. But moreover, it's also like the deaths that we take during this defeat here. So you can see we're really taking a lot of deaths, hitting a level 15 versus, let's see, the level 9 here. There's only 623 in this scenario, for instance. So there's a big difference in cost in that sense. And to just dive a little bit briefly into those numbers, I promise I won't go too technical. Then you can just see here that if we take the lightning type of dragon here, the levels 9 through 15, we're averaging out on the blue chest here. Mind that there is an increased drop chance of, say, epic or the purple chest. The higher level you go, the same, there will be a higher chance of the green chest with the lower levels here. We are just averaging out on the blue chest because for many people it's the blue chest that's the most common, and it's also therefore the one you have the least keys of. Hence you'll be spending more gems unlocking the blue chest. So these are the amount of dragon souls that we get from the different levels. And here we have the amounts of AP attempts we need. So this one you need to actually multiply by, for instance, as you see over here on the right column, the 95. The deaths, so this is for a 292k STP troop with tier 5 units. So say you took the same amount of losses with the tier 6, these numbers will increase dramatically. You will however also take less losses with T6 and T7, of course, but this is just in my current situation, these are the numbers that I could gather, and therefore we can find the cost of that for training these troops. And we can therefore kind of calculate the resources that it costs per dragon soul shard in a sense. And by using numbers like, for instance, from the wishing fountain, these are the costs that it takes me right now to say go from, I usually stop at 30, but if I therefore want to do something and increase my resource income, that could, for instance, be one means is to use more wishing attempts in the wishing fountain, which would be needed if I really ran through a lot of my troops, and I would need additional resources to train new troops. And therefore you can kind of calculate an increased cost by that. So you have the cost for each wish here, and then by the on the 40th attempt we get an additional 800,000 resources, hence we can deduct an amount based on the average here. I know this got a little technical. Take from it that with, again, about 20% crit chance on these, what we get is that the gems it costs per one resource. This is the number we need in order to find the cost on like the gem cost per our dragon shards here, or souls it is actually. So yeah, basically it's just this number that's the important one, and it just helps to see that just because we can take level 15, it gives the highest chest, so to speak. We also take way higher losses, taking down a level 15 lightning dragon. Hence, it's way cheaper for us by rushing through. So we are gonna, replenish our AP using gems in this scenario. We are gonna speed up the chest by using gems as well as we are gonna acquire the resources to recover the trained through gems as well. We actually don't really mind the lower drop rate, so to speak, or the lower drop outcome, because it doesn't matter in this case that this is in a scenario where we have we're not limited to AP because we also gem that. So based on that, it's really cheaper to just go through a lot of rounds just doing one shotting a level 9 lightning dragon. Mind what could be beneficial is to actually go to level 10, because what I experienced is that sometimes I do actually one hit this one, and so that's why if you suddenly reduce this number to 1, the cost goes down quite a bit. But as you can see though, then the cost of replenishing the resources is actually quite high, and therefore it doesn't quite match the other one because it's just so much cheaper to kill this dragon. So despite you still one-shot it, you should really have in mind how many troops you're losing killing the dragons. So because I was always focused on that I just had to one-shot them, But now I found out that actually I need to revisit the cost of my losing troops against the dragons. So yeah, I hope this gave some clarity to you guys. Stay tuned for more. Like and subscribe. See you around. Bye bye.